48 Fastcast.
Welcome in, friends. 7:01. Welcome to the 48 Fastcast. Really starting the day off pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's looking like a beautiful day. You know, the week ahead looks amazing too. If you have plans to get out, maybe go to the beach for the 4th of July, barbecue as well, man.
Everything.
Everything
looks good. You know what? You want to hang out in your AC? Do that too. Great weather for inside or outside plans. Most importantly, you might not notice it first thing this morning when you step outside, but the humidity levels will start to fall by late morning into the afternoon. And I think it will be substantial enough that you'll certainly start to notice. But looking at our dew point forecast here, most of the past 2 weeks, the dew point has been in the mid 70s, and we've had a heat index over 100 degrees. Well, thanks to yesterday's cold front that just brought a few pop-up showers and storms, knocks down our humidity levels with that northwest wind pulling in that drier air as opposed to the south wind that brings up the Gulf moisture. Now, it's still July. We can't have everything being perfect. It's still going to be hot. Highs in the upper 80s to mid 90s the next couple of days. And another great thing about the forecast, the lack of any rain or storms all the way through the long holiday weekend, 4th of July, of course, on Friday. And then our storm chances increase into next week. We've got a little bit of patchy fog here this morning. Quick check of temperatures, upper 60s to even mid to upper 70s out west.
This is your 48 First Alert Road Report, sponsored by Bankston Motorhomes.
All right, my friends, 565 in Madison, looking nice in both directions there. Really no issues on the roads at all this morning, so it's always great news. A live look at the Huntsville Metro, a little bit of a slowdown there in 565, kind of our typical slow spot. And indicator as you are approaching the bridge, also seeing some slowdowns there. Also on 31 as you are maybe getting off the bridge going north to the Athens area. Drive times right now, Decatur to Huntsville about 22 minutes. Huntsville to Decatur will take you about 20. Well, this morning we are learning more about the 3 people involved in a Marshall County crash yesterday. 1 person was killed and 2 others were injured in that wreck that happened on 231. We now know the person killed was Hank Hornbuckle. Huntsville city officials say Hornbuckle was a public works employee. The 2 others injured in the crash were also public works employees. One of those crash victims is Donnie Dowdy. He is a city councilman for New Hope. Friends of both men say they're still trying to process what happened.
More dogs have been seized from a home in Lauderdale County just months after authorities seized more than 80 animals from that same property. Now, in January, officials pulled more than 80 dogs from living in awful conditions, and yesterday they found 30 more. Lauderdale County Sheriff's deputies say Teresa Counts, who was arrested after those dogs were seized earlier this year, was also the owner of the 29 or 30 new dogs who were just rescued. Now, she was charged with cruelty to animals, but the charges were dropped after she agreed to surrender the animals. And just like last time, these dogs were found living in squalid conditions. All of the dogs who were previously rescued have found homes. No word yet on if Counts will face any new charges. And 1 man is dead following a wreck in Ardmore, Tennessee that happened yesterday on Gowan Road. Now, Ardmore Police Chief Jerome Robinson tells us the person who died was Joe Witt. The driver, he was driving that truck when it rolled over. Witt was pronounced dead at the scene. No one else was hurt.
Huntsville police will be out looking for drunk drivers during the July 4th holiday weekend. They will be conducting DUI checkpoints around the city. Now, a few of those checkpoints are on your screen now. There will be one at Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive, one at Pulaski Pike and Maston Lake Road, and one at University Drive and Research Park Boulevard. Now, if you do drive through one, you will have to stop, provide your license, insurance, and registration. Repairs to the bridge on Upper River Road on I-65 are now finished. All lanes of the interstate in that area are reopened. Crews were able to complete the repairs about 14 hours ahead of schedule. The bridge was damaged after a tractor trailer transporting an excavator hit it in April. Although those lanes are open, the bridge will stay closed for the rest of the month as contractors raise it up.
And still to come, a local woman is celebrating the birth of her son last week, but you won't believe where she had to give birth. We'll tell you that story here on 48 News Today after the break. Now listen to this. A Lawrence County woman had to give birth last week on a sidewalk.
Yeah, she was just feet away from the Alabama Birth Center in Huntsville, but she didn't make it inside. Last Thursday, Mercedes Bolden went into labor. Her contractions went from being 8 minutes apart to 4 minutes apart. Bolden and her husband rushed to the Alabama Birth Center in Huntsville, but her water broke on the ride over. She had no time to get inside the building, so she just went on the sidewalk. Fortunately, a group of nurses helped her through the birthing process. She only had to push twice before her son, baby Ivan William Bolden, was born.
Then as soon as he came out, I was laughing hysterically because I'm like, no way. And I literally had to FaceTime my mom, and I was laying on the ground, and she was like, what happened? Because, normally when somebody's laying on the ground, they fell and got hurt, she thought I'd fell or something. So, and I put the phone on him, and then they all did, my sister and her wife was in the car. They just started busting out laughing.
Now, this is actually Bolden's third time giving birth. She says even though she had to give birth on the sidewalk, this was actually the easiest birthing experience she has ever had since everything happened so quickly.
Now, your first alert weather with meteorologist Eric Burke.
Well, good morning once again, everyone. The cold front yesterday brought us some scattered storms. I know we had at least one severe thunderstorm warning for the storm up in Lincoln County, but the rain and storm coverage was actually a little bit more isolated than we were anticipating, and behind it, we reap the benefits of that cold front. The air temperature here in red going to match the feels like temperature in pink. So upper 80s for your high temperature. Will feel like low 90s. I'm okay with that. Hour by hour forecast showing some of the morning cloud cover filtering out. By the noon hour, we're in the mid to upper 80s. A few of you might just hit about 90 degrees, but notice no rain, no storms today. Wind out of the northwest. We're already seeing the dew point starting to go down. When you see 60s in July, that is excellent news. The wind out of the north and northwest about 3 to 7 miles per hour. Could see some gusts closer to 10 later on, but best stretch of weather we have seen in a long time, and it just so happens to line up with that 4th of July Friday, and then the weekend after also just as nice. So temps will still be hot, but it won't be as humid. Really just perfect weather for whatever you may be doing.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in here to the Fastcast. Make sure to join Eric and Gina back at noon here. Until then, have a great day.